And welcome, friends. This is the Lost Girls podcast. It has been too long.
It has. We are so good at consistency.
I know, right? To be honest, I like our schedule of do it when we can.
Yeah. It's very laissez-faire.
Yes,
which
that
is a
word.
Yeah, really just fun French way of being like, I'll do it when I want.
It reminds me of something else that I can't remember. It's weird. My brain is not braining very well, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I know. Neither is mine. This is going to be a very entertaining or not episode.
By the way, I'm Neva, one of your hosts.
And I'm Maria, your other host.
Because we have squirrel brains this morning.
Yes, big time. Yes.
Big time squirrel brains.
Big time.
I feel like I've had squirrel brain for like a week. I had a meeting, like in-person meeting with the rest of the training team, and I sat down. I was like, I'm just warning you guys.
Just heads up. I got squirrels for brains.
It's all squirrels in here.
It's all squirrels in here.
They're just like running around, and they don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I love that. Yep. It's like me the whole first 2 weeks of school.
And the children are half asleep anyway,
yeah,
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's really no big deal. It's fine. We're all just getting used to attempting to be humans instead of being squirrels again.
I wish I could just be a squirrel.
I know. I just want to be a squirrel forever.
Except I would be smart and not run out into the road the moment a car comes by.
And remember where you buried your nuts.
I hate losing my nuts.
I hate losing my nuts. It's the worst.
Well, this intro took a turn.
It really did. It really did. Hey, Neva, what are we covering today?
Nothing related to squirrels or their nuts. We are talking about spiritual ethics.
Woo! Everyone's favorite subject.
I know, right? I wrote down the definition of ethics because I feel like it's a little bit
ephemeral.
Yes. That's a word. I like that word.
I like that word too.
So, ethics is, according to the Google definition, moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity.
Oh, love it. That's perfect.
Yes, perfect definition.
Yeah. So I don't know where you fall on the moral alignment chart. Just as a vague baseline for our viewers.
Yeah, as a reminder, we don't really discuss topics. We just say hey, let's talk about this. And we go, sounds great.
Sounds great. Yeah. We're really great at this.
It just makes it more natural and
authentic. Yeah.
Authentic.
Yeah. But so on the moral alignment chart, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of if you've ever played any kind of games or have been on the internet, it goes from you're either lawful or chaotic or neutral or good or evil or in some combination of the two. So within my family structure, my husband and my oldest are hardcore lawful good. And I am strictly chaotic neutral, and my daughter's really borders the line between chaotic neutral and chaotic evil.
In my house, I would say my wife is chaotic good.
Yeah.
Or lawful evil. I don't know. Which
it ends. It's one or the other.
All I can say, because we were driving home from family dinner last night and she asked what we were talking about, and I explained it to her, and she's like, well, what does that mean? And so I kind of explained it to her, and I was like, yeah, I realized that I remember very vividly she took an ethics class in college, and every day was this is the dumbest fucking class.
I think Avery has a strong sense of right and wrong.
She has a strong sense of justice,
Yeah.
But she also likes to like know the rules like the back of her hand so she knows how to bend them. So
Interesting. She may be a true neutral.
So kind of like Batman energy, I think.
Batman energy. That's awesome. And what are you, Neva?
I feel like I fall in the neutral area. Neutral, good, lawful, neutral. I cannot quite picture what the square looks like in my brain at the moment, but
Because squirrels.
Because squirrels.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I know those are all words and they are on there somewhere, but I cannot remember how they intersect.
Yeah.
So I'm not like truly like lawful good. I'm not like that, but somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Good, neutral.
Yeah. I always tell my husband, I'm like, well, you're like Captain America. And he's like, ugh, yeah. Like, because he totally is.
Yes.
He's like, but that's what's right. I'm like, but what if we did this thing?
What if you were Tony Stark?
Yeah. You know. Or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Love her. But anyway.
So,
yeah, we got a whole bunch of ethics things. And we're talking directly related to, like, our area of spirituality and witchiness and readings and how people conduct themselves online and as readers in real life and all of that super fun stuff. Because there are a lot of, I won't say, like, etiquette norms that I think a lot of us just naturally abide by. And then there are people that take advantage of the system, if you will.
Yeah.
And the area of spirituality.
Yeah.
Strictly for their own gain and with absolutely no comprehension of those skills.
No consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so. The idea for this topic came to me while I was at a psychic fair, doing readings, and I'm like looking around. I'm, just from my vantage point, kind of looking around and thinking about, the people who I give readings to, because like literally the very first person that I had that day sat down and, I talk to people, kind of try to get a feel for what they're looking for, like, because I only do tarot readings at these. And
right.
what he was looking for, he was like, I'm just like looking for a message from the beyond. And I'm like,
okay, buddy.
And so, I said, okay, well, I don't professionally do mediumship readings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes people are so excited for this new age spirituality that they have found that they don't fully understand nuance, and they just assume everyone's a psychic medium and reads tarot and can do all the things. And I'm not saying that I can't channel spirit. I'm saying I won't for other people.
Yes. And
I think so that is a personal boundary that I have, and I feel like, people who are seeking out these services need to maybe do just maybe a little bit more research and understand the nuance in exactly what they're looking for. Like a lady I gave a tarot reading to once, and I probably won't again, she wanted a lot of yes and no answers, and I kept having to say, tarot doesn't work like this. Tarot doesn't work like this. And
if you want yes or no answers, flip a coin, my girl. Yeah.
Right. And so I just feel like there are some people offering services who would take advantage of people like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I
also take issue with a lot of that because, like, I don't market myself as a medium or psychic and also, like, not because I don't I couldn't do it. One, I can't do it consistently enough or with everyone. Not everyone's open to that.
Right.
Like, not everyone's energy is able to be read in that way. And so to say with 100% certainty that you can, to me, is like disingenuous to the idea of what it is, because it's impossible to read for someone like that if they're not available for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, like, I read the tarot, and that's fine. And that's, I can consistently access at that level.
Yeah.
But, I was just thinking about this when I was laying in bed trying to get up and thinking about this topic. And I was like, I don't market myself for like reading Akashic records. I don't know how to do that. That's not something I would be comfortable doing for other people. You've done them for me.
Yeah.
And it's been great because you know how to do it. But
Right.
it's like, it's a thing that you studied and practiced and, have access to in that way. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, what are your thoughts here? I feel like I'm rambling.
It's okay. So as I was thinking about this and I was writing down some notes, on the one hand, so there was a psychic fair in Topeka that I was looking into attending, and it said that if you wanted to be a reader of anything, cards, runes, whatever, you had to have a like a pastor certification, or not like, how you can like go online and be certified to
like marry people.
But what's it called?
Like a justice of the peace?
No, like
chaplain?
Something like that. But
Yeah.
but it's literally a super simple thing. You just go to this website and you pay them money and they send you a certification that says you can marry people or
Right.
perform these services. And I was just like, there was something about that really I found frustrating, because, and so then I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, like you can take tarot classes and get certified in tarot.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I'm like, but is that 100% necessary, or does it just add a level of professionalism? And then I was like, okay, I'm having this whole thought process in my head. I'm like, okay, Reiki.
Right. Reiki people are certified.
They are.
Yeah.
And so then I was talking to some friends this weekend about like massage. You can go to massage school and be certified, but you don't have to be. You don't.
True, yeah.
At least in Kansas, you can just be like, okay, I do massage now. Just decide one day.
Yeah. You can't do that in Connecticut. You have to have a certification. Yeah.
I mean, I think you're more likely to maybe get clients if you do have that certification, but you don't have to. You can just be like, I have a massage parlor now.
Yeah. This is the thing. Oh, yeah. No. You can't open a massage parlor without a certification in Connecticut. You have to be certified like by the health department. The same thing with like hairdressers, cosmetologists, tattoo artists, all that.
And so, I mean,
that's crazy though. But like that totally applies.
Right. I think it's very related, what level of certification or, professionalism, like what is needed. Like if you have just these innate gifts, should you be required to be certified in something?
Right. Why do you have to prove that you have them?
Yeah.
Right. I know.
So we might not reach a depth.
Yeah.
It feels, to me, that specifically feels like a gray area to me.
Yes. Yeah.
I
think all of this feels like this whole episode is like just shades of gray. I don't think there's any, like, as a disclaimer, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer here.
Right.
It's just something that you and I have talked about and encountered
in
our practice. and our in our practice shifting to business over the years. And so it looks very different for everyone in their own experience. And but there's also like I take issue with a lot of the online certification classes or get certified for this or get certified for that, because it's like, one, who are you to be certifying people as one? Two, what does that certification count for? And three, it's all shit you can learn on your own for free.
Yep.
Some people can't learn in that environment. Like, as a teacher, I completely understand the need for structure and for someone else to set goals, and not just do it on your own. But I think that there's a bit of like a new age wave of classes that specifically take advantage of people who are interested in these topics, and that really pisses me off.
Yep.
You know, that's like, learn to be a psychic in 30 days, and I'm like, you are 100% scamming people. And, you know, it's like they do a little shadow work, a little journaling work, and all of a sudden they're a psychic. And it's like, no, man, you're not teaching people to access their gifts. Like, oh, man, there's just so much of that on the internet right now. And it makes us look bad.
Yeah. I have I don't know, call them an artist internet friend. You know, we follow each other, whatever. And recently she started reposting a few things that I'm like, oh, you are falling into a new wave rabbit hole that I'm like, there's so many red flags in this. Why are you not seeing them? You know, like preying on people's fears, I think is a big, like, I feel like, especially right now, there's so much uncertainty in the world, and there's so many people looking for just a little bit of hope that is going to be okay. And related to that, there's so many people who, I hate to say this, but they don't want to think for themselves. They want someone else to tell them all the answers and like, just do X, Y, and Z, and everything's going to be sunshine. And, you know, just pay me $500 and I will do this for you.
The fees for those classes are crazy.
And then you don't have to ever worry about anything ever again. And I'm just like,
yeah, it feels really like
scummy.
Gross. Like salesperson-y.
If we want to use the lingo, it gives the ick.
It does give the ick. Yeah, it does. I don't like it. Like it.
And like, I totally understand you have to sell yourself and you have to sell your services, but in that process, you don't have to sell your soul.
Right. Like, 100%. And don't be like, don't you wish you knew if your partner really loved you?
Oh my God.
Like, I've seen those ads everywhere. And it's like, dude, that's so fucked up. Like, not even to mention the whole twin flames debacle of the spirituality section of the internet. Like, it was such a huge thing. It was like, find your twin flame and your soulmate. And it's like, oh my God. Like, this is bad. Like, you're telling people they're not complete without another person in their life. And that goes against every psychological tactic for helping people heal.
Because let's be honest, everyone wants to believe that their one true love is out there.
Right.
You know, when I was a teenager, I had a moment like, there's 7 billion people on the planet. What if I never meet my true love? You know?
Right. Seems insane that I'm going to meet my true love within 10 miles of where I live. How did that happen? Because statistically, if they're one of 9 billion people, they could be across the world. No, dummy, you just fall in love with the people that are around you.
Yeah, and yeah, so that sort of stuff, it feeds into that fear that we all have that we're just gonna die alone.
Yep. How do I know that they're the one? Like, I know. For me, a lot of that polyamory solves a lot of that problem. And I'm like, maybe I have 10 twin flames. I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
We're just a whole bonfire over here.
So the psychic fair that I like and I attend and I participate in, I like it because the coordinator, the organizer, vets all of the readers and healers before she allows them to read and heal in her event. And so I like that. You know, when you look at a person, you can kind of be like, they're legit, or I don't know about you, you know.
Yeah.
And I get a really good, like, okay, this person has not made their spirituality their entire persona,
Right.
because to me personally that feels like a giant red flag.
It does. If it's like those people, like when you, and I'm not saying like the aesthetic of a person who's witchy,
Yeah.
but when they're all dressed up in like, you know, culturally appropriated Roma attire.
Yep. Yeah, culture appropriation is a
big one. And it's like, you know, and they're just some person who's not from that, you know, tradition or heritage. And it's like, you're, one, appropriating a culture. Two, do you really know what you're doing? And also, do I trust you to do this if you think that these choices you've made are good ones? Like, you know, I don't know. I have a real issue with, someone who's like, this is all I am. And it's like, well, then how can you read me for all I am if you are only accessing from one part of your personality? Like, you need to be a whole ass person to be a reader or an energy worker.
Sometimes I have like more than one ass.
I mean, I got a juicy double all day.
So, okay, related to that, an interesting thing. When I go to psychic fairs, they're usually multi-days, so I have to stay overnight, pack a bag or whatever. And, like, as I'm packing my bag of clothes that are normal Neva clothes, like, there's still this part of me in the back of my head that's like, but you don't look the aesthetic, so how are these people going to trust you? And I'm just like, that has no relevance on anything. And the fact that that thought even popped into my head, I think speaks volumes, because I feel like, you know, we have this idea of this is what this kind of person should look like.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that even when I read places, I'm like, do I look witchy enough? And then I'm like, that's so stupid. Of course, I dress how I dress, which is innately sometimes witchier than other times, like, because I like a lot of like Ren Fair and cosplay things, but that's just because that's my personality. I have read in like, you know, a tank top and cargo shorts because that's what I was wearing that day.
Yeah.
And I think part of why, oh my God, now I can't think of her name. Was it like Teresa something, who was like the New Jersey medium?
I don't know.
Oh my God. She was insane. And she did super well, but she was like a loud, brash housewife from like Long Island. And she was like, yeah, I'm a medium and this is what I do, with her like super puffed up blonde hair and long nails. And she was like the least witchy looking bitch you ever met. And she was like calling shit out. And I was like, oh, I love her. Like,
okay. I can't remember her name, but she was like famous for the call-in tarot readings.
Oh my God. Yeah, maybe we should have done more research, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm looking up this, hold on, Long Island medium.
We can cut this part out.
Teresa Caputo, that's her name.
Teresa.
Yeah.
I've never heard of her.
Swear to God, and she is like the most basic bitch looking woman you've ever seen. And I'm sorry if you ever listen to this and are offended I called you a basic bitch. I mean it in the most loving way possible. She looks like she is the embodiment of Long Island Italian housewife.
If this episode somehow makes it to your ears.
Yeah, and I fucking love her. Like she's the baddest of bitches.
That hair holds so many secrets.
I think it holds the secrets to her mediumship 100%. Yeah, but she rules. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly what we need. Like an everyday person. This woman's just going about her daily life, reading people, and can't help it. It's great.
So, in comparison, the psychic fair that I do now versus one that I did a couple of and I no longer do, that coordinator 100% did not vet the readers because all I said was like, oh, I'm a reader. She's like, great, bring a table.
Cool, okay.
And so my sister went with me to the two that I did because one was like way in Arkansas and one was in Oklahoma. And she came with me for those weekends. And she's very sciencey, very logical, and she takes the stance of there's a lot of things in this universe that we don't understand. And just because I find that a little bit impossible doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very healthy science-based take.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But there was like one specific person that we were both like, we were discussing it outside of the venue, and we were like, there's something not quite on the level, right? And she's like, yeah, that person was totally scamming people.
Yeah. And
part of it was her boyfriend, and I put that in air quotes. Mm-hmm. I feel like the person herself probably wasn't scamming people, but it was her boyfriend who definitely seemed that he was out to make a quick buck. And he was going to host his own spirit fair. And because he definitely had a vibe of like, he like looks around, he's like, man, there's money to be made here. If I can, people will pay me to like have a booth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so even she was like, yeah, that guy had so many red flags.
Yeah.
But then it's like, how? So then the question is, circling this back,
right?
If certifications don't matter, then how does a normal person know if they can trust anyone?
I know. And how are you just like, I don't know, man. Do you feel the vibe? Is that enough?
Right? But if you're like brand new, just like you just discovered spirituality.
Right. How do you know?
And sometimes you get taken for a ride, and maybe that's part of your journey.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's certainly a good learning experience. But I feel like, sticking with recommendations is probably the best. Like, if you're new to spirituality, if I had any advice for people who were just stepping into the pool of this world.
Dipping your toe in.
Dipping your toes in. Listen to people who have swam in the pool before. Like, I
like that advice. Yep.
Look for recommendations from people who you trust, or, if there's a friend of yours who's like, yeah, I had a reading from this person and they were really great. And even if they don't look like they're witchy enough to be, a reader, know that gypsy cultural appropriation is a real thing for the Roma culture. And it's something we're actively trying to avoid.
The interesting thing is, now that I've done this specific spirit fair a couple times, so like the people behind me, this last event, she paid for a reading for herself and her her son. And then for like the rest of the day, like people would come to her booth and she'd be like, hey, if you want a tarot reading, like Neva is amazing. Go to her. So
That's great.
And I've had people come by who I gave readings to at previous events, and they would tell their friends, like, she's really good.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the way.
That's, this is the way.
You, yeah. And as I was thinking about this episode and things that sound crazy, like they shouldn't be possible, have you heard of DNA activation?
I've heard of it. I've never, like, done anything with it. Yeah.
Right. So I had a DNA activation done on me or whatever, which when you think DNA activation, that sounds like the stupidest, like an impossible, stupid fucking thing. And you know what? There's still a part of me that's like, what does that even fucking mean?
What happened to me?
Right? Like the logical side of my brain is like, girl, what are you doing? But it was a person who I had worked with before in other various ways. And she was recommended by other people that I worked with before and trusted. And as I like there's not a whole lot of information, just Googling that doesn't sound like this is some batshit crazy, crap. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's try like the first session and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I think it made a difference or an impact, or maybe I don't know. I thought it was worth it, the person I got it from, but
right. I mean, only you have to think it's worth it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I knew fuck all about Akashic Records. When you did mine, I was like, I don't know what this is. Some past life thing, I think. And I was like, but I love Neva and I trust Neva and she wants to do it. So fuck yeah, I'm going to pay her to. And let's see what happens. And it was amazing. And, we still need to have an episode about how our past lives are linked. But
oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we need to mentally prepare for that one because that's going to be a heavy episode.
Yeah.
Just because of context. But
yes.
Stay tuned. In the future, when we have time.
Yes, exactly.
Our very strict recording schedule that we stick to.
I have some interesting stories that I have heard from other, like, third parties, like, that they have experienced.
Please share, yes.
So, one that I heard was a person was charging $1,000 for a tarot reading.
I'm sorry, what?
$1,000 for a tarot reading.
Cool. Okay.
And like I said, I totally understand. You're like charging your worth.
Sure.
But I feel like there's a line there somewhere.
I do know that there's like tarot card readers, like to the celebrities. Yeah. I like stumbled upon it on Instagram and there's like one or two like guys that have like ancient decks and do tarot readings for celebrities. And and he charges thousands of dollars.
You know what?
Like,
if
you fucking got it, like, that's your market, and that's what your market is willing to pay. Great
good for you.
But if you're doing psychic fairs at the local Sheraton hotel, I'm not charging $1,000. Like, I'm charging $30 for 20 minutes, and that's where we're going.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, your average person is not going to pay you $1,000. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Another story I heard was telling clients not to tell anyone what they said.
Ooh, I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that. I straight up let my clients, I'm like, if you want to take pictures of the cards, go ahead. Because I'm like, I'm not
yeah.
going to remember. Like, I'm channeling. I won't remember.
Right.
You should remember.
Yeah.
And I had one lady who was like, can I do a voice recording? I was like, sure. I don't care.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Not telling people seems like a really big red flag.
Yeah. There's a reader in a nearby town who will only, like, they have a full-on storefront,
Mm-hmm.
and the only person she will allow into the reading is the person she's reading for. Like, everyone else has, like, wait outside or wait in their car or something.
Okay.
I feel like if the person getting the reading is okay with it, I don't care. But
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe she's got a thing about like energy mixing.
maybe.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I just always like, and maybe it's just what's built in to my growing up. But anytime I drive by like a storefront with like a neon sign that's like psychic and tarot cards, I never take it seriously. And I'm like, and I'm a person who does this. Like,
Yeah.
am I just working against my own kind here?
There's in Lawrence, I've never gone there, but so
gotta.
Lawrence is a very historical town. If you know your Civil War history.
Oh, I'm just talking if you know your supernatural lore.
Oh. Wait, what's it? Lawrence? Kansas?
Sam and Dean Winchester are from Lawrence, Kansas.
Okay.
Listen, that town spawned some hotties. Just saying. Because they're daddy hot too.
Anyway, supernatural. I think I watched part of the first episode. I was like, this is too dramatic. I can't.
Oh god, it's so good. So stupid.
I tried to watch it. I was like, I can't. My heart can't handle this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So in Lawrence.
Some of the stores are like under, like in the, like there's the store that's street level,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like basement stores.
Oh, cool.
You know? So there's like one that says like psychic, but you have to like go down these stairs and ever since I was a teenager, I'm like, I want to go in there. I never have. So maybe I need to take a special trip to Lawrence and just. Like,
I think you should.
I think I should too.
Oh my god, that's so awesome. Ugh. You got to see where the Winchesters are from.
I literally grew up 20 minutes from Lawrence.
I know.
So I've been there hundreds of times.
I know, it's just crazy.
Okay,
It's all good.
when you come visit, Maria, we will stop in Lawrence.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah. One I was already planning on. I was like, Neva's in Kansas. We're gonna go to Lawrence.
Especially if you fly into Kansas City, it's only like an hour, if even
That's
that.
awesome.
It's just like you take I-70 and go, shoop, there it is.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
All right,
Yes.
I'll put Lawrence down as a
As
need
a-
to go.
Need to go, Lawrence. Gotta go. Oh, okay. Do you have any other issues, topics with this?
I think we should talk about social media scammers.
Oh my god. Yes, let's do that. I'm gonna have to cut that pause out. So social media scanners.
Yeah. A real psychic medium tarot reader will never DM you to tell you that you need a reading.
No, they won't.
Not like they will not DM you first, especially if it's someone you don't know.
Right.
Like you don't know this person. And especially if they're like, my beloved, I felt my energy called to you from an ancient curse. That's
I like
not
literally
real.
I can't roll my eyes hard enough. Like they're gonna roll out the back of my head.
But the sad thing is, they wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
I know. And it's like, whenever I get messages like that, I'm like, really? I'm not your market here, girl. Like, I know your game. Get out of here.
Do you ever, like, if you have the spoons for it, do you ever just kind of like
engage?
Because it's like, if they are occupied with you, then they're not scamming someone else out of their money.
Yeah. I've only ever engaged with one. And really, it was like, do you really think that this works? And I was like, because I started very polite. I was like, no, thank you. I'm a reader. I don't need a reading done. I have friends for that. And she was like, oh, but I felt called to you. And I was like, no, you didn't, though.
Your checkbook felt called to me.
Yeah. I wasn't calling out to you, I promise. My energy's pretty locked down. But, oh my God. Yeah, that one always gets me. And then what always annoys me is, like, if you have a public profile, that they'll use things like, oh, well, are you sure your partner or your kids or another thing is like, how can you know you'll be healthy? And it's like, dude, every reader, those of us who can determine right from wrong within ourselves, know that, like, reading for people based on health is like a real fucking gray area.
I don't do it.
Yeah. And because I have, and I'm sure you have too, have people ask. And I'm like, listen, I can give you just like a general futuristic outlook of your life, but I'm not like, I'm not doing a yes or no reading for whether or not you're going to get whatever that's in your line. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that holds the reader like super liable. And
because, we read for a lot of people and we don't remember them. But the people we read for, they remember.
Yes.
I've had people message me like 6 months to a year later who was like, remember this reading? Well, this is what happened. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that, it resonated with you and you can see the connections that are being made. I don't remember it, and
I always end my readings with that. And I'm always just like, take whatever notes you need to take whatever pictures you need to take, because I will not remember. I was like, and I'll have people message me like on Instagram and be like, oh, you did a reading for me however many months ago or however many weeks ago, and it was really great. And I'm like, that's amazing. They're like, do you want to do another one? I'm like, sure. Just know I'm not going to remember what I channeled during that first reading.
Yeah.
Like, we're just conduits,
Yeah. Which is also why I stopped doing romantic relationship readings, because that made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh my God. I did. Oh my God. I was a reader at like an adult punk rock prom, which was super fun. Don't get me wrong. The whole event was very fun, but it was a lot of couples, and a lot of couples wanted like couple readings. And there were like several couples that were like, I don't want to tell you that one of you is cheating.
The last thing I want to pull is the fucking Three of Swords in a couples reading.
I know. It's like 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords, and it's like, okay. You guys need to go home and have 5 of Wands. Like, you guys need to go home and have a conversation about what's going on.
Tower.
Yeah. Like, reverse Wheel of Fortune.
Oh my God. I had a friend, like a very, she's still a very, very good friend. And she was like, hey, would you do like a couples reading for like me and my friend? And this was before it's only been in the last couple months that I said no more romantic relationship readings. And I was like, please don't pull the Three of Swords. Please don't pull the Three of Swords. And I did. And I was like, okay, how can I make this not... Well, anyway, long story short, I don't even think they're together anymore. Because the last time I talked to her like a month ago, she was like, I think I'm going to break up with him. And I didn't want to be like, yes, good, yes.
Right.
But I didn't want to be like, oh, I saw that coming. But at the same time...
I know.
And
like, we're never surprised, man. We're never surprised.
I'm just like, no more. Like,
yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. The relationship ones, the health ones. Yeah.
The guy who wanted me to like message from the beyond guy, he also then something financial, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Like, that's not on my list. But I don't like, there's something about that, like, that makes me feel uncomfortable in this moment, and I don't want to. Anyway, I think I just did like a basic reading for him.
Yeah. And it's like the whole point of the reading, like, I understand asking questions like when you're doing a reading and having cards that are in positions that have meaning. But to be like, I want to know if I'm going to get rich. Be like, that's a less functional question than where are there going to be opportunities for growth in my life? You know, like, that's a much more tarot-y question that Tarot's like, yeah, I can answer that. Because how am I going to get rich? Tarot has no answers for you there, my dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. 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 And it was like, because he had I think it was easier for me to say no to that because I had already said no to his previous. And so I was already kind of like, gonna have to say no to that one. And that's just, and you know, as a reader / healer, you know, whatever the case may be, I think it's important to establish those boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know where that boundary is until it presents itself. For example, romantic relationship readings.
Right.
But, you know, the more you understand where your boundary is and what you can and are willing to do or not do, I think that's also part of your morals as a reader / healer. You know, and knowing what your not only what are you willing to do, but what are your energetic abilities and boundaries. Because, like, by the end of the last day of a 3-day fair, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it, you know?
Yeah. I've done a couple of those 3-day fairs, and there was one that I did last summer that I chose not to do this summer. Which is interesting because it was like an Italian-American festival, and I am crazy Italian. And tarot originated in Italy. Like, it's based on the Italian playing cards. And I got a lot of like American Italian people being like, oh, this isn't real, it's the work of the devil. I'm like, you know, it's from our country, right? Like, you know, this is where it started. Like, Strega Nonna is not just a historical figure who puts candy in your shoes. Like, this is whatever. But yeah, I think learning where and when to expend your energy is super important in any reader / healer's moral journey.
Yeah. And how to protect your own personal energy from... Yes. Because these people are bringing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to, like, shield up.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like that's shield up, ground down.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've learned a lot about what I'm capable of from doing like 3-day fairs and like what assistance I need beyond myself. Right. You know? So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Should we pull from a deck?
Yes. I believe I think it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Because the only reason I know that is because I listened to the last 2 episodes this week.
It's good. Oh, got my back. All right, I have one right here. I don't know if we've like just on purpose been trying to do different ones this whole time, but I bought this deck a while ago, and it's Tarot for Kids.
Oh, I have that. in my Amazon lists, I have a tarot oracle list, and
Yeah.
that is in it because, like, when my nieces and nephews are old enough.
Yep. So this was laying around because my children, and the cards, this is what I don't understand. The cards are huge. Like, my adult hands have trouble shuffling them.
Well, I mean,
But I figure kids would chaos shuffle, and they would just, like, throw the cards everywhere.
well, and if you think about it, you know, like kid pencils. Have you seen like the big old fat kid pencils?
Yeah, fucking thick pencils. So I pulled a card. I got the Ace of Cups.
Love
And
it.
I know the illustration on these is so pretty, and it's like all kids, and it's very diverse, and it's like there's 2 of Cups just for reference.
Nice.
But it's a really beautiful deck, and my kids like it. They have other things that they like more, so now it's like my deck. But if I read for them, I use this one. Yeah, but Ace of Cups is great. It's, you know, the beginning of an emotional journey, and
Which I think is really kind of relevant to what we were talking about.
yeah, I think so too. It's like maybe you're at the start of your spiritual journey and figuring out what feels. It's like if you're a reader, you must have some kind of intuitive knowledge. Something led you there.
Yeah.
You probably have a good innate sense of right and wrong. It's like follow that gut feeling.
Yeah.
So
Love it. Snaps.
yeah, snaps. So Neva, what's bringing you joy this week?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I was trying to like choose one. I think what I'm going to choose. Mostly I'm choosing this one because I've been like wanting to tell you this story, and then I was like, okay, I'll save it for the pod.
Yes! I love it. I love it.
Okay. So I work for DCF, which is Department of Children and Families.
Mhm.
I personally work in vocational rehabilitation, but the hallway to go to the kitchen is lined with CPS workers, like Child Protective Services people, and like they're cool people, and we chat and we get along and everything. And one of them, like, she was doing something totally different, and I'm like walking by, and she's like, I want to get a deck from you. And I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, wait, what?
How?
And I was like, do you mean an oracle deck? She's like, yeah, one of your decks. Like, how do I get one? And I'm like, and she goes, do I have to go to the gallery, or can I get one right from you? I'm like, well, either. Like, I can bring one, but I'm like, how do you know like, because
Yeah.
I didn't tell. I haven't like, people know that I read tarot, but I
Yeah.
didn't. And she was like, well, I was on Facebook and a page was recommended to me, and she's like, so I clicked on it and I was scrolling through, and then I saw your picture and I was like, wait, that's that's Neva. And
Yeah.
and I was like, well, that's cool. Okay.
Oh my God.
And so PayPal was being a little bitch on Friday, so she's gonna like bring cash on Monday or whatever.
Mhm.
But then, so there's like a room with some tables and filing. Anyway, it's kind of like where the PPS people hang out and eat
Mhm.
their lunch or whatever. And so she invited me to like eat my lunch with them. And so then the other CPS people were like, well, what is this? And so I'm like explaining it, and then one of the other women, she was like, will you read me? Will you read me? And I was like, I mean,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I always have a tarot deck wherever I go. She's like, will you read me? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, to take a breath. Like,
Chill out.
I'll be right back. And so I was like, you know, my usual, like, do you have in a specific area? And she's like, I don't know. But she was just like so excited.
Oh, I love that.
And
That's
so
like
I was
my favorite.
And so I was like, okay, let's just do like a super simple, like, past, present, future.
Yeah.
So like as I'm reading her, she's just like, she has her like hands, her chin in her hands, she's like staring at me and her eyes are just like huge and she's like,
Oh my God. You're going to become famous in your office.
And she was just like, and she was like, how did you do that? She's like, how did you know? And I'm like, I was just reading the cards.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't have an answer for you there.
And she's like, can we do it again? And I'm like, maybe like next week. And she's like, okay.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Holy shit. Neva, that's so awesome. Oh, that makes me so happy for you.
Yes, it makes me happy too. Because I'm like, it's not like I was hiding the information, but it was also just like, if it doesn't come up naturally in conversation, I'm not going to be like, hey, by the way, I read like tarot.
Yeah. FYI, made my own deck. No big deal. Yeah.
But
pass out business cards.
Yeah, like that doesn't feel like something to do in a professional setting.
Right, yeah, no. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many students ask me for readings. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I will lose my job.
Oh, that's a whole other thing. Like, do you read for underage people?
Oh, I do if their parents are there.
I do too. If their parents are there, yes. But if their parents
are there. But if their parents are not there, no.
No.
Yeah. Like you don't even know what you got going on all up in there. Like,
so
and teenagers like I can read you without a deck.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, does he like me? No, honey,
no.
run.
Move on. Run. Just run.
No, you're not going to change him.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
He's bad news.
Right.
Dump him and go to college.
Right. Dump him, move on. It's just my whole I don't even need to read for them. I'm like, this is just a sticker. Here, take this. Dump him, move on.
Here's my mom advice.
Here's my mom advice. Yeah. No.
Or here's your auntie advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't listen to mom, you listen to auntie.
Right. And Auntie's telling you to dump him. Anyway.
So that's what's bringing me joy. And part of it is the joy of telling you that story.
Yes, that was wonderful. I love that. Like, oh, yay.
What's bringing you joy, Maria, other than hearing that story?
I mean, obviously hearing that story and seeing your face and doing this podcast. All of those things, yes. But it's such a letdown compared to yours.
Oh, no.
I know.
I don't think so.
Yeah. See, two things. Okay. Video games, which is like not a thing for me typically. I'm not like a video game person. I am surrounded by video game people, which is difficult. And I have tried to play a mini game and have failed spectacularly at so many of them. But I started playing a specific game and it has a story mode where like you basically can't die. And so
that's the kind of video game I need.
Right. And you just like fight bad guys and you go through the story and I'm like, oh, I actually enjoy this. This is weird. But it's been distracting me a lot from my back to school scaries. And so I'm grateful for that. That and sleep. I've been very grateful for sleep. Because I know I'm not going to get any soon.
Oh.
I know.
It's like you're stockpiling.
I am stockpiling.
It's like you're pre-gaming but on sleep.
Yeah, pre-gaming. This is my kind of pre-game. It's pre-gaming sleep. This is where I shine. It's great. But yeah, those are the things that are making me happy.
I love that for you.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's our episode. It went a lot longer than I kind of expected it to.
I know. That's okay.
That's okay. I don't know if we ever decided anything definitively, but I think it's a good conversation worth having.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to continue having the conversation with us or with each other, by all means, leave comments, let us know, reach out. We'd love to hear from literally anybody.
You know, just so we know, maybe it's going into someone's ear holes.
Someone. Yeah.
Other than
it's cool.
ours.
Yeah, other than ours. Yeah, because we listen back to ours. We're just like, oh, look how cute and funny we are.
I hope other people love us as much as I love us.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's impossible for anyone to love us as much as we do. It's so much. And I'm okay with that.
I get a lot of joy listening to our podcast.
Me too.
Especially when it's been like 2 months and I don't even remember what we said. And I'm like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, did we plan that? We're so good at this.
We are so good at this.
Oh my God, we're like professionals. Except we're not at all. Amazing. Okay, well, guys, thanks for listening. Reach out and like, subscribe, download, share.
Yes, leave the stars. Trick your friends into listening.
Yes.
Tell them that we are eloquent and don't have squirrel brains.
Right, well-spoken witches.
All the things. Find us on social media, etc., etc.
Okay.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.